For Lost and Found episode number 7, we are talking about Necessary Roughness, where Captain Archer is placed into the fictional team of the Texas Armadillos, a once powerhouse college football team that got the death penalty, where all the team and coaches were removed and filled with scabs of sorts that have to take on a collegiate football season. So, Pop Tot, this was your pick. What do you think of Necessary Roughness?
This movie has a lot of nostalgia. I hadn't watched it in a long time. Probably it's been just as long as watching something also near and dear to our hearts as The Replacements, which came 9 years later, and it's very similar.
Guess you don't remember me.
Yeah, I remember you. Coach Riggendorf.
You know who I am?
Yeah. Jimmy McGinty. The old coach from the 80s.
Watching it now, it's somewhat dated.
How hard it is to get respect.
Respect as a female teacher, yeah. I know.
But it still has like a really good heart to it. Scott Bakula looks amazing in it. Mm-hmm. He does a good job. He's like a 34-year-old.
34 years old. Haven't thrown a football in years.
It has a lot of good stuff to it. It's very early 90s. I completely forgot Jason Bateman was in it.
Yep.
Sinbad was in it.
Yep.
Oh, and Kathy Ireland. Let's not forget this was Kathy Ireland's acting debut, who's, I think she's now worth like $500 million.
I'm an armadillo, just like the others.
You're an armadillo, but not like the others.
It had a little bit of a drag to it. There was like some issues, but it's 1991.
I don't care how you do it, man. Tell him a story, spit in his ear, entertain him. Just keep him off my ass.
You know, football is always near and dear to my heart after always playing. There's a lot of things I love about this movie. There's some things that are, I don't want to say frustrating, but kind of weird. There's always parts of football movies where it feels like the people writing it just kind of make up terminology and just kind of throw it out there, like not really understanding or knowing what it means. And this happens a lot. There's a lot of movies that do that.
Would you go long? Fly pattern right, please.
One of my all-time favorites, if not all-time favorite, is The Replacements. And The Replacements borrows just about everything from this movie.
Look, I'm talking about total control. No pressure to win.
I want total control of my team. If I didn't want Cochran to have that ball, I would have called it that way.
Called a running play, not a pass.
But does it better?
Yeah.
I think the heart aspect.
He is the best. Guy's got it all.
No. He doesn't have heart.
The conflict is all better. The prison inmates, you got the crazy linebacker guy. It's like all that is just thing for thing.
In the prison inmate scene where they brought them and they played hardcore football with them for the brief seconds that kicked their ass, there were some football greats on there, including Dick Butkus. I think he had one of the few speaking lines.
They were all football greats. Yeah. Every single one of them was a legend, which, as Miss Top pointed out, you can see the clear difference between the actors and even these guys who've been retired. I think like almost everyone besides like Jerry Rice or whatever was retired, and they all looked jacked. They all looked huge, which was super funny.
That was a good scene. Scene.
It was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Yeah, the problem for me is when the conflict comes in. You know, the struggle of kind of finding the leadership in the team.
Oh, I can't tell you how to do that, Blake. You're gonna have to work that out for yourself.
The difference here is Paul Blake, which is Scott Bakula's character. He never is bought into the leadership right away. You know, Keanu Reeves' Shane Falco is immediately the leader, and it's about him trying to find heart again, you know, and this kind of like life thing that football represents.
You can't breathe. Because you're in over your head. Like quicksand.
The movie Necessary Roughness always kind of struggles to find the conflict.
High school is over. You want to be a leader, you have to grow up. Now, what happened on that field out there tonight doesn't change the rules. Rules
doesn't ever really work for me.
You slapped that righteous paintbrush around pretty wide, Ed.
Oh, Wally, I did what I had to do.
No shit. Well, they're my team, too. And they're good kids.
What do? You did ball him in front of everybody. You're wrong, Ed.
Well, the problem is, back to school and all that.
Yeah.
They made the dean this comical bad guy.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. But you see, sometimes I can be quite nice.
At one point, he was hitting on the professor that's the love interest for Scott Bakula's character. He didn't want an athletic program. And the president, played by Fred Thompson, who, as many of you remember, he was not only a U.S. senator, but was the tower director in Die Hard.
Yep.
He wanted this football program to re-engage.
No, you don't need me, you need an image.
I'm offering you the opportunity to show the world that this can be done.
The dean was all against it. He was trying to trip them up every step of the way.
I've always opposed this or any other school squandering its limited resources on a mind-numbing sport that encourages corruption and barbarism.
But he was almost like too comical.
There was times when I was laughing, but I agreed. It almost felt like he was in a different movie.
Shut up.
There's this kind of half-baked message about football players being meatheads.
They're always shouting.
But it's very half-baked, kind of like the whole, thing of the leadership with Scott Bakula's character in the battle with the head coach. And then you have the whole money and donors thing, which is hilarious to me now because of NIL deals. You got players making more than pro players do.
I was literally telling the wife that when we were watching this. I'm like, oh man, this movie wouldn't work in today's NCAA.
Yeah, you got, Arch Manning, the nephew to Peyton Manning, his contract is more than most first-round players, and he's now a sophomore at Texas, which is just hilarious to me.
The way the Supreme Court ruling worked was, hey, nobody can restrict kids from doing this. So it would follow that would be the same for high schools, elementary schools, whoever.
Did you recognize the actress that played the love interest? She actually a wonderful actress of the 90s. Her name was Harley Jane Kozak. She was actually in one of the lead roles in the movie Parenthood with Steve Martin.
Right.
Patty, we love you. Could you just give your father that little extra effort he's looking for?
But she's actually a very well-received author. She writes crime novels.
They do some kind of interesting stuff, like the team basically loses a bunch of players because of eligibility as part of the dean's sabotage. So they do all Ironman, which is just a pure death sentence. It's still
in college football.
It still happens, but it's
Texas college.
Yeah,
football.
it's very it's a player every now and then, and not to that level.
And now, here are all 17 of your new Texas State Fighting Armadillos.
And therein is some of the realism of the actual movie is they lose every game except for the last one.
Right, and they beat the number one team, which would be probably the greatest upset in any sport event in history.
Yes.
Again, they hadn't, I don't even know if they had scored touchdowns, and they were able to score multiple and beat this number one team that was, basically super dominant, which that whole scene, the final act of the movie, which is this big game, it gets pretty graphic. There's a lot of blood, and I'm like, holy shit. I had just seen the movie a couple years ago, and I'm like, I completely forgot about that.
The bad guy in that team, Flat Top, which they get into a bar fight earlier in the movie, he's really just giving poor Scott Bakula for his money.
He's shooting blood out of his mouth, and that's gonna be a penalty. And they even said it, he just straight up just forearms in the face and all that. And
probably easily my funniest part of the movie, and I knew it was coming.
You must show us some respect.
Is when the samurai guy goes kick ass during the game. And then the referee has to call all
my god, that's so goofy. Yeah,
it's so funny though.
Senkutsu elbow thrust to the up back. Oimawatsu roundhouse lunge kick.
But yeah, there's a lot of funny parts. Rob Schneider's pretty funny.
And over 14,000 faithful Bobcat fans drove up here in their Winnebagos, pickup trucks, and Astrobans.
As usual, in Lost and Found, just leave it to the streaming abyss.
You don't have to talk like I'm dying.
Found, you go out and find it on the streaming service, which it was on HBO Max, I believe.
Yes.
Pop Tot, where are we putting this one?
I would find it. I would recommend going and finding this. If you've never seen it, watch it. Maybe even have a in between seasons right now of football.
And busy.
Maybe you watch this with the replacements and,
Yeah.
Maybe skip Brian's song. Don't watch that with these. But, maybe you watch them back to back and you can do your own comparison. But I would definitely watch it for that. If you have seen it, it's just been a decade or so, watch it again because, we all love a little Scott Bakula. And the dude's just not in enough stuff. And I just long for those days. I see him looking that age, and I instantly think before Captain Archer, there was, Dr. Sam, whatever, Quantum Leap.
I completely agree. If you enjoy watching Scott Bakula wear the hell out of some jeans, which he does, man.
He does. He's got the jean jacket and the cowboy hat.
He looks good, man. He definitely does.
Smoking away and even making smoking looking cool. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, good Lord.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty consistent comedy-wise. Like I said, some of the football stuff just feels like they're just saying terminology to say terminology.
And it allows you to say the word partay again.
I thought you said you wanted a party.
Even when Scott Bakula says it, I'm like, oh my God, that was the whitest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I thought you said you wanted a party.
I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely think it's worth checking out. It's not a very long movie. It feels like it stays just enough time. The conflict doesn't really work, but there's a lot of, Easter eggs of characters, and you'll be like, oh, I recognize this guy. If you like football, especially that kind of time, there's a lot of legends that make the appearance.
You get to see Kathy Ireland in short shorts kick the ball.
Yes, for sure. So I definitely recommend checking it out. Be sure to recommend, whatever movies you want. We're always looking for recommendations. There's so many movies, and there's plenty that sucked or didn't get watched. So let us know, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right, everybody, class over. Get out.